What's up, guys? Welcome to Nebraska Outdoorsman. This is a brand new channel. My old camera broke, and so I just got the new GoPro Hero 7 for Christmas. So I'm going to be trying this out, putting a lot of videos up for you guys. So today what we're going to be doing is turning this regular old paracord that we got here. I got a bunch of scraps. We're going to be turning this into a waterfowl call lanyard with all my duck and goose calls for hunting season. So since duck season ended, I'm going to be doing that. So what you need is, you're going to need a knife or a pair of scissors, a lighter, and 100 foot of paracord. I got 100 foot of 2 colors and I cut them down. So you're going to need, to start off, you're going to need to get, you're going to need to pick 2 colors. So my one I have right now is green and a camo kind of color. This one is going to be red and black. So what you're going to want to do is take one color and cut it into a 25 foot long section, and take the other color and also cut it into a 25 foot section. And you're going to want to melt those two together. And it's very important that you melt the end of every piece you cut. And these two have got to be melted together really tight and really firm. You got to be able to tug on it and nothing's going to happen. You're going to want to then take whatever your blandest color is, so this would be black for this one, and cut a 12 foot long section. And what this is going to be is your inner loop of your lanyard that you're going to braid around. So we are going to start off, you're going to take your 12 foot section, make sure it's plenty long. If it looks super long, like all the way out here, that's where you want it to be. And you're going to make sure it's all super long, and then you're going to take this and you're going to have the center loop. You're then going to take your 2 melted portions and try and put it right in the middle. As best as you can, you're going to try and put that melted portion in the middle. So once you do that, you're going to take, so we're going to make the red our middle and the black our outside loops of the lanyard. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your red paracord, you're going to come over the front like so, trying the best to keep your wax part in the middle. Then you're going to come over that loop, around the back, and through the hole. And then you're going to pull the rest of that guy through as best as you can. You got to get it all the way back through. Now it's best to do this in an open area where you're not going to get a bunch of tangles. So then you're going to try and line that wax melted portion up in the middle, and then you're going to take that loop and you're going to slide that up, and it should be about the size of your pinky. You're going to have to, at the end, you're going to have to fit the end of your 2 25 foot strands through this loop. So you're going to need to make it big enough that you can fit through it. And so we're going to keep doing this for a little while, just over the front, and then over the front with your outside, over and through, like that, and pull it all the way through. And you want to make sure this is super duper tight. You're going to need to make this, again, you're going to be taking this into the field. I've had mine this whole last duck season and goose season, and it took a beating for me. I went in water, did everything like that. So obviously this is red and black. My other one is more of a camo type color, and so that is the one that I use in the field. So you're just going to keep doing this for a little while, but not before, or for a little while before we're going to put a drop in to put in one of your calls. And so you, once again, we'll make these bad boys really super duper tight. So once again, over the front with your middle color, over the front, come over the front, behind, and through the hole, and then pull through. Make sure you're pulling this baby super. Okay guys, so next you do 25 here, and then you're gonna add a drop. So where this part comes up, there's 25 loops to before there. So once you hit 25, you're gonna stop. You're gonna go about 10 of these loops, 10 roughly down, and we're going to put our first drop in. So I did red here. And so what you're going to do is you're going to get one of your 3 foot, we're going to do 4 drops. So we're going to take 4, you can alternate colors. I'm going to alternate 1 red, 1 black, 1 red, 1 black. And you're going to cut it into a 3 foot section. And once you do that, you're going to go down about 10 loops, and you're going to melt it to your inner loop. And you're going to lay it flat like it was going like that. And once you get it, so I melted it there, you can see right there, and I laid it flat, and then you're just gonna braid over the top of it. And so I already have 2 done here, so you just go over the top, around the back, through the hole, pull all the way through, and you just braid over top of it. And these ones have got to be super tight. And one way you can tell if it's super tight, if I take it and I hold it and it doesn't, sag, if I bend it and it stays, that's how you can tell that it's actually tight. So from where, if you look here, from where it drops down, we're going to do 16 loops. So I count like the red loops. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, etc. So from where it drops, you're going to do 16 loops, and then you're going to do the same thing on your next drop. You're just going to do the same thing, just you can either alternate colors, you can do same colors. So this is a 4 drop lanyard. So 16 from where this guy hangs. Okay guys, so we just got done with our 16 here, and it's basically you're just going to do the same thing that you did with your first drop. So I switched to a black one. Excuse me. A black one. And so once again, you're just going to melt it there. And then we're getting fairly close, I would say. Not super close, but pretty close to the center of our lanyard. And so, like I said, you just do the same thing you did with your first drop. So you did your 16, put your second drop in, and then you're just going to braid over it again. So in front, behind, and through the hole. And you cannot have these things too tight. These need to be very super duper really tight on, because it makes for a bad hunting day if you lose a call as you're in the water or anything like that. So now from where this guy hangs and drops, we're going to do 14 loops. So across, in front, behind, through the loop. Alright guys, so we have our first drop and our second drop. And so we did 25, got our first, 16, did our second, and we did 14, and it's the same thing that we've been doing for your third. And like I said, I'm switching colors on drops. You don't have to. I personally like it. I think it looks a little bit cooler, a little bit fancier. But there's your 3 drops so far. And you're just going to braid over it again. And so right here is going to be the center of your lanyard, and we're going to be using this stuff. This excess is going to be so right now we just worked on roughly this part. Yeah. So on mine I did more on mine, but it's a little too far apart, I think, so I cut it down to this. So now we're going to do, from our third drop, from where it dangles, we're going to do 16 to get to our next one. And so I already have one done. So then we're going to just do the same thing over in front, go behind it, bring through the loop and pull completely through. Get it really super duper tight. Just like so. And just keep doing that. And so what I was saying we're going to use, so it looks, I said we're at the center of our lanyard, and if you're like me, if it's your first time, you're going to be like, but I got a bunch of excess, so what's all this extra for? So, sorry, gotta get this nice and super tight. So I'll show you on this guy. So we're working on this main body part and we're adding our drops in, right? Well, the part that's going to go around your neck, we're going to use the excess that's there, and we're going to braid and we're going to make it thicker so that way it sits on your, so when it sits on your neck, it's thicker around your neck, and then it's thin where your claws are, so that way you don't have to worry about it, if that makes sense. So I had mine on backwards, it bothers me. And so then this part's thin, and we're going to make it thick around the neck for like a little neck padding, so that we don't have to worry about it rubbing or anything like that. So that's why we have all this excess is going to be used. Alright guys, so we got we have our first 3, so we did 25, did our first drop, 16, second drop, 14, third drop, 16, fourth drop in, and we're just going to do the same thing where you burn it to this inner loop and then you braid over it. So we have 2 of those guys already done. So in front, behind, through the hole, and then pull all the way through. And this is the same braid, like I've braided a couple of my knives with paracord on the grip because the grip came apart, and you just use this same braid for everything, bracelets, knife wraps, everything. So this time, so this is our last drop, so we're going to start kind of doing the ending of what's going to be our lanyard. So when we started it, we did 25 to our first drop, but from our last drop we're going to only do 18. So in front, behind, pull it through. And so once we do these 18, then we're going to complete our lanyard and we're going to put the neck padding on, and then I will show you how to tie a slip knot so that way you can, like mine, so on mine I can, if I want to, I can pull and I can replace the caul, and it's just a simple slip knot. I'll show you guys how to do that on your drops, so that way you have them all there. And that way you can just simply do a simple knot, so that way you can replace cauls if you get a new caul or anything like that. So like I said, you're going to do 18 and just bring your middle in the front, bring your outside in front, and then behind through that little hole, pull the rest of that guy. Alright guys, so we got 4 drops right there, red, black, red, black. So we did our 4th drop, we did our 18. So now that we get here, this was all what I like to call this part the easy part, or this all was the easy part right here. So then what we're going to do is we have this extra strand that we did our inner loop with, right? So now you got to try and really got to keep these out of the way. So you're going to turn it, what I say, belly side up, so you can see the bottom where the black's in the middle, where your burn piece is. And this little loop we made earlier, this is where you're going to hope you made this big enough. So grabbing these two ends that we have as our inner loop. You're going to take these guys and keeping them perfectly straight. You don't want to bend these guys. You're going to stick these through this loop, both of them. Okay, so I made mine big enough so it goes through that loop. So then you're just going to kind of make sure I slide mine down all the way just to make sure that I can fit everything through. Okay, so then we did 18. So where we did 25 on the front, so you're going to count from you're going to count 18 measures 7. You're going to count 7 of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. So about yay long, and that's about how long you're going to make this guy. So I just pulled it back and made it about 7 or so long. And what you're going to do is take this and fold it back over. So once you have it folded back over where you can lay it down, then you're going to take that part right there, you're going to cut it. So I'm going to cut this part right here. So then those you can set off to the side for a little bit. We might use them, we might not. Just depends on what I want to do with those. So then, like I said, you're going to lay these flat just so that the ends peek out right there. And so then what you're going to do is you're going to braid over this double loop portion up to there. So this part's a little tricky because you got to try and hold them straight and braid at the same time. So this is definitely the hardest part of paracord of the lanyard. So I braided it loose right now, like just so I could fill it through. So once I got it where I want it to be, then I'm going to just make sure everything gets nice and straight, and I'm going to tighten everything up slowly to make sure I have everything where it needs to be. Bingo. So the first one, once you get the first one, that is the hardest one because you got to make sure these guys stay out, and we'll burn these in a little bit, but these braids right here have got to be godly tight. You need these things to be insane tight, because if this is going to be a really small lanyard. What the fuck? This is really small. Oh, that's why. This isn't 550 paracord, so it's a little smaller one. Make sure both of your paracord is 550. If you do what I just did and waited and realized that your paracord isn't 550 and it's not as thick, then it makes it a super tiny lanyard. And it's not big. So if you look at the comparison in size of this is what it should look like if you're using 550. This is what it looks like if you're not using 550. So make sure you're using 550. So I'm going to finish this just for the video so that you know what to do using the right paracord. So you're going to completely braid over top of this. Guys, that sucks. I told my buddy I would try and make him one. He gave me the paracord and I didn't even think to look to see what kind it was. I just assumed that I told him 550. I assumed he listened and gave me 550, but apparently, you know what? We're gonna redo this part. We're gonna make this a tad bit. We're gonna redneck this guy a little bit. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna unbraid these parts over this double strand real quick. And what I'm going to do where we talked about trying to line, because this could be a very usable lanyard if I get it the right size. So where we folded it over, pull that through. Okay, so where we folded these two over, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to make it a little longer so that it would fit over. And I'm going to burn these two to this part. So we're going to do that. I need to move my fingers farther away, otherwise it's going to hurt. So we'll bring these guys together. So I'm going to cinch these bad boys together right about there. Ow! Got myself. There. So now it'll fit over my, it'll be a little bit shorter of one still, but it'll work more. So then you're just going to continue to keep braiding over top of this till you get to the end. So as you can see, guys, you don't have to do the exact perfect measurements. It definitely helps if you're using the right paracord and you can do the exact measurements that I gave you, because that's what I did for my last one and it worked out amazing. But sometimes you screw up like I did and you have to kind of jimmy rig a little bit. So we're just gonna, so what I did was I just took those two and I burned them together, and then I burned them to this end. So now this part will fit over my head, and I'll make my drops a little bit, where my calls will be a little longer so I can still bring them up to my mouth, but this part will be a little shorter, whereas that one, my drops are really short but the neck part is really long. So okay guys, so we have been braiding over that little section and we stopped at this little loop that we looped through. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna braid over it. These have got to be ungodly tight, because this is the part that holds this thing together for the most part. So these guys got to be, I'm gonna wrap it around my hand. Super tight. And do that until you get to the very part that you can't braid anymore, and if you are braiding any more, then you're braiding over other braids, which you don't want to do yet. And I will show you how to do that when you should do that. So I got one more, possibly, no. Yeah, we'll call that good, but we'll braid over that part again the second time. So what we have here is our two 25-foot sections, our leads. And what we want to do is we're going to cut those as close to this thing as we can. I recommend using scissors and not a knife. I had been using a knife to cut these parts and stuff like that, but if you're trying to get really close, I recommend scissors over a knife. Okay, so there we go. Set your leads aside because we are going to use those again. So you're going to take, you have your 2 points that you cut. You're going to take your letter, and it's really important that you melt it, and melt it just into the part It's right there. We'll make sure that's nice and melted and nice and solid so it's not going anywhere. Because if that comes undone, then your lanyard comes undone, and that's no bueno. It's not good. Oh, shit. So once you get it melted in there, then I'm going to show you how we are going to go and rebraid. So this guy will fit over your neck. It's a tighter fit, but it will. And we're gonna show you how to make a, like this one. Oh shit. How to make it durable at the neck and comfier at the neck. And so I will show you how to do this. Now I'm going to show you how to finish your lanyard. So where we've braided over and all that good jazz, we melt it in. So then you're going to take two same colors and you're going to melt them together again, and you can make these however long, I guess, however long you want your neck pad to be. That's how long you're going to make your neck pad. So I'm going to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to start right about 10 from my original drop. And I'm going to switch it, so I'm going to make black my middle for my neck pad. You don't have to do that. I think it looks cleaner and just all around better. So I'm going to put black across and bring my red around. And the first one is the hardest one to get. So these ones on mine are right around 14-foot strands that I have. And so what you're just gonna keep doing that. And these are around, like I said, 14.5 foot. My other one, they're at 20 foot, and I was more precise with where I was putting those ones versus this one. I'm not as precise. So we're just going to braid around our lanyard part. And this is going to be the big, thick neck pad part that's going to cover your neck. And once we get done with this, I'll show you how to do a slip knot on the drops so that you can put your calls. I have one of my extra calls I have up here, and I'll show you how I judge where I want to put this knot at, or where I want to put the length of the drop, so where I want my call to hang on my chest, and how I would make my slip knot to do that. And that varies from person to person. It just depends on where you're comfortable with your calls being. And so I'll show you my preference, but you guys can. This is one of those things, these type of lanyards and everything like that. This is one of those, you got, I gave you how I would do it, but if you have something that you would like to try or do differently, then just go for it, because if you mess up, there's some rope. It's just a couple bucks. It's not a huge deal, and usually if you mess up like I did, I just kind of undid it and found a new way to braid it real fast. So I'm gonna make this neck piece about that long for my neck, maybe a little longer, so that way it sits just right on my neck. And once we get done with that, then I will show you how to tie your slip knot and how to put your call in that and size it up and everything. Okay guys, so we got the neck pad done. So like I said, we started here and we braided over all the way around to a certain length. I felt that was long enough, and then I just burned the ends to the actual lanyard itself. That one came undone, but I'll just reburn it and stuff like that. So now I'm going to show you how to do a slip knot like I did here for a call. I did this is one of my snow goose calls. Just a simple slip knot. So I have 3 of them already sized up. This one I haven't tied yet, but I'm going to show you how to tie the slip knot on this longer piece. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a loop with it, and then you're going to fold back the one end and bring it over the top of both, and loop it around and through that loop. Then you're just going to pull it tight, and there you go. There's your slip knot. Then you can slide up and down, put your call in it, slide it down onto it, and then it's tight, and it's not going to go anywhere unless you want it to, is how it should be. So then, you know, obviously you cut it close, so like that one's already cut close, and then you just melt it down. Oh, if the lighter will stay. You just melt it down into the slip knot. So that one's melted. And I like to try and melt them down fairly close to the base, if I can. So they melt like that. And so like this one's super long, so what you do is you just, you know, kind of pick a length, you cut it there, and then you tie it there instead. So, and that's how you tie your slip knot, and that's how you make a lanyard, guys. So put your call in and just we'll do it on this one, and then you can still, so it seems like it's really close, but with it being a shorter lanyard, it's not. And that's your lanyard, guys. And if you use the correct paracord, you get a longer one like this, and then you do the same slip knot and everything like that, and it works out perfectly. These work perfect in the field. And guys, if you like this video, I'm gonna be putting up a lot of videos of coyote hunting, and oh yeah, I can show you guys that real quick too. So once you tie your slip knot, so if you ever need to not necessarily need to, but if you want to, if it starts getting loose and you want to tie a new one, so there it's tied, everything like that. The way you do it, you just grab it and you just pull it through and it'll untie it. So there's that. So that's your lanyard for your waterfowl hunting. And this channel, I'm going to be putting a bunch of coyote videos and hunting videos and just shooting videos and stuff with outdoors. So subscribe to this channel. I'll be putting videos up as much as I can. With the new GoPro, that'll be super easy. And leave it in the comments what you think about the lanyards. And if you want me to make more, I can do knife wraps. I can show you guys how to make a like a rangefinder lanyard for in the deer stand, or for when you're rifle hunting or coyote hunting or anything. And hopefully by Sunday I'll have a video of a coyote hunt up, and hopefully I can get some footage of me killing some coyotes up. So there you go, guys. That's the first video on this channel, a waterfowl lanyard with 4 drops for all your waterfowl needs, and these things are sturdy and strong. So like I said, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.